Hello, hello, hello. I am Indigo Sage, and I do have a spiritually based website at unapologeticallysage.com. Now, you guys, the last few videos, you have heard my voice issues because I'm a little under the weather. I am battling not only my alarm that you may have just heard, but I am battling these allergies that I have, and pretty soon they'll be under control, no problem. However, I've discovered the mute button so I can try to mute when I cough, and I'm gonna fight through this my voice. All right, I save it for you guys. I won't talk all day if I know I gotta make a video. All right, so you can find Unapologetically Sage on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. All right, so welcome to another installment of your love forecast. Black ice weather. Can the Empress rip the band-aid off? Okay, Sagies. So here's the thing, all right? So about a couple of weeks ago, I was out walking um, for exercise, practicing social distancing, of course. And the friend that I was walking with, I was explaining to her about this series and how I compare it to weather, so on and so forth. And if there wasn't the most huge look of confusion on her face that I've ever seen before in my life, which helped me realize that not everyone is familiar with metaphors. So please know that I'm trying to fill in that gap real quick. Not to, give you a definition of metaphor, but just to kind of help it connect the weather and the relationship. And it's funny because I did a paper on comparing like weather and relationship. We had to do a compare and contrast, and the teacher didn't like it. I did that in college, and they did not like it. They didn't get it either. And quite frankly, I don't see what's so hard about it. But another thing with black ice, I realized also that everyone's not familiar with what black ice is, because I certainly was not. Right now, I'm located in a sunny area where we don't normally get black ice. And so the freaky year that we did, and when I experienced it, man, I tell you, I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was going to die. I was not ready and prepared. Okay, black ice is no joke. And it's so sneaky because it's not actually black, but I'm not going to go in deep because this message is so freaking powerful that I'm going to dedicate the time to the message itself. But what I wanted to do, because I'm the type of person I like to immerse myself into something to where I get a complete 100% understanding of it. And so that's what I am doing with these weather metaphors. So sometimes I will break it down about what, the weather actually is right before we go into the message so that you guys can get what I'm talking about and why it, correlates. So, what is black ice weather? It's a road condition that happens when water droplets form in warm air, then falls into below freezing temperature at the surface. Okay, so basically, the way I see it is something starts out all warm and fuzzy, and high up and floating and, good. And as it descends, as it slowly descends, unbeknownst to the warm and fuzziness, it enters an area of below freezing temperature, which changes the dynamics in a flash, and no one's prepared for that. Okay, that's black ice. Black ice is no joke. You can lose your life in black ice. Now, and you know what? As I said that, I'm not saying that this relationship is gonna make you lose your life. I'm not saying that. Um, so, but anyway, but in reality, as it pertains to the actual weather, the black ice weather, yes, some people have lost their lives because it's just something that you can't really see coming. As you look at this photo of black ice, it just looks like the road is wet. So you might think that it's wet from rain. And, you're like, all right, I can handle it. It's just rain or dew, or in this case, the photo, snow, just drive a little slower or whatever. Um, but let me tell you something. When you enter that black ice road and it's ice, your car, all of a sudden, it feels like you are on an ice skating rink with no skates, but in your car. That's how it feels. Okay, so here's the thing, Sages. I have to kind of laugh at myself when it comes to this because, as I was saying before, like I immersed myself into finding out all information about something new. So I just wanted to do you guys a favor and say that I'm not going to read all of this. However, if you want to know more about black ice weather condition, hit pause. You can hit pause and you can read all of this, which summarizes it. And kind of at the bottom, I tell you what's coming up. And, it's like a little surprise I got for you guys. All right. So now is the time for me to explain to anyone new to my channel. When I do your love forecast, the way that the reading is given to me is as if I am reading a story, as if they are chapters of your life or your relationship, what's going on. All right. And so they develop. So it kind of goes from the past to the future, but I can't tell you where you are in the story. As you listen to it, you will identify where you are in the story. I can only give you the chapters. Now, normally I do like 4 cards per chapter, 4 cards, 4 chapters. That's how it's been, but I always follow the divine because I channel the message. So I do whatever they tell me to do, okay, for the collective. But I'm just saying so far that's been like the uniform of it all. But every once in a while there's a variance. But just know that this is kind of being read as a story, so take it in that way. It's not to be taken as in I show you these cards, then next I'm going to clarify it, and then next I'm going to clarify the clarifier, and then next I'm going to clarify the clarifier. That's not how it is. It's a story. Now, if there was to be clarification, that would be called an extended and a separate video. All right. Which I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to do an extended on this. So, also, I want to say what you're looking at is not a tarot deck. This is cardamancy. And for some reason, I like to do cardamancy for the first chapter. I think because it's so bare, like it is what it is. It just is what it is. It's not a picture. I am big on imagery, but with these, it's not a picture. It's just a the basis, the grounding of it, like the start, like the root of it or whatever. Um, the beginning chapter, it's the first chapter. So I always normally use um, these cards, which are it's called cardamancy, and they're just the basic playing cards, and they do have meanings behind them, which I'm going to break down right now. However, with these, I don't go individually. This is your first chapter, which normally, whatever brought you here, you're already past that first chapter. So, which is why I don't break it down with their own image individually. I will tell you what they mean right now. So, what we have is, and also I want to say, the diamonds and the hearts represent divine feminine energy. The spades and the clubs represent divine masculine energy. Now, I'm going to say this. I've always said, like we all have divine masculine and divine feminine in us. Each and every one of us. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. All right, we all have that energy in us, and it needs to remain balanced. So, with that being said, with what I just said, breaking down, the energies that are present right now that we are looking at, because I'm still gonna go on imagery. Imagery is imagery. I am big on imagery, but even though this is card imagery, I'm still gonna go on this imagery and break it down. You can see the feminine energy is on the outside. The divine masculine energy is on the inside. Instantly, what I got out of this. Oh, and let me say before I go any further that this divine masculine energy means that it's prominent in someone. And that someone can be a man or a woman. The divine feminine energy means that that's what's showing up. And that can be a woman or a man. Okay? So please get that understanding as we go forward. Back to the image of the cards. The first instinct I got, the first thing I got when I was channeling this message is the divine feminine energy is protecting the divine masculine. So the divine feminine is protecting the divine masculine. And the reason why I got that is because, let me give you an example. Walking down the street. So when I walk down the street with my child, I always have my child be on the inner side towards the houses, and I'm at the street side. Now, it's just a natural instinct as a mother to protect them. Now, what I'm protecting them from by walking over there, I don't know. Because if a car come and run into us, I'm sure like both of us is going down. But it's just a natural motherly instinct. If I'm with another adult, my child is in the middle. You see what I'm saying? It's just a divine feminine motherly type of energy to protect someone who we sense needs protection. So the first thing, I know that's deep, right? Um, looking at these playing cards, I can instantly see the divine feminine is she sees the divine masculine needs protection and she's protecting them. Okay, so let's go ahead and break this down. And actually, let's sage it out. That's what we're doing. Six of Diamonds means it represents losing something that seemed established. All right, and please know that I'm going to refer back to these. Just because they're not getting their own individual imagery breakdown, I'm still going to refer back to them. But the Six of Diamonds represents losing something that seemed established. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was a previous relationship. Or, yeah, because this is a love read. Six of Spades. A couple is not being sincere with each other with a slight possibility of cheating or divorce. Or it means an unpredictable event. Eight of Clubs. This one has two meanings. First one, a casual relationship. And to me, that kind of makes sense if you had a divorce. So, like, this all makes sense. Losing something that seemed established, your previous relationship seemed established. A couple is not being sincere, and it represents possible cheating or divorce. And then you follow with a casual relationship. Hey, it is what it is. But Eight of Clubs also means, on the flip side, professional success despite challenges you've faced. Be vigilant when it comes to other people's influence on your career. So the Eight of Clubs also talks about your career, and it says that you've overcome the challenges that you faced so far as your career, or what was getting in the way of your career. And it could have been your partner, because this is a love reading. Okay? So understand what I'm saying. But whatever was your challenge, which possibly could have been your partner, or the things you, not them necessarily, but the things that you were going through, you've overcome them. But then it also warns to be vigilant about people who, about the influence that they have on your career. That's the Eight of Clubs. Nine of Hearts, taking your relationship to the next level by deciding to become more serious. This first chapter is all about leaving one relationship and beginning another. Allow me to introduce your second chapter. So we have the Romance Angels. All right, so the Romance Angels. My little singing voice sounds so horrible right now. I can't wait to get my real voice back. That would have sound much better, ringing in your ear. So we have first up flirt, retreat, finances, and career. Pay attention to red flags. So this is the second chapter. And I didn't bring attention to it, but in the first chapter view, um, although there was still black ice, it was not, it was kind of clear, the weather, but there was still black ice on the road. All right. This is your second chapter, and it's dark. And it's not to say that the second chapter is dark. What The reason why I chose that image is because you're entering the zone of falling in love. And as we all know, love is what? Blind. All right? So this darkness represents the love is blind. And I want to remind you all to pay attention to the imagery, because something may stick out to you that's very prevalent in your life. So again, for your second chapter, we have the Romance Angels with flirt, retreat, finances, and career, and pay attention to the red flags. And I'm going to say right here, right now, it was funny because I just got done talking about the Eight of Clubs and how it has a flipped meaning, and it refers to your career. And it just so happens that the finance and career is in the same position that the Eight of Clubs was in. So let's go ahead and sage this chapter all the way out. Flirt. Extend your light-hearted energy to others. All right. And with this card is saying you are the initiator. You are eager for the newness of it all. You're eager for the newness of it all, but there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? In it of itself, there's nothing wrong with that. Little flirting, and you're eager. And I am sensing that, because this is a normal thing to be, when you release something that was low vibrational, like a previous relationship, previous person, low vibrational, bringing you down. Sometimes, you know, we're eager to, when high vibrational people come into our life, we're eager to accept that. Okay? Um, there are different levels of eagerness. So let me say that now. But there's nothing wrong with being happy about the newness of it all, about, meeting someone who seems to get you. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. And so you kind of become the initiator in it because you may feel like this is what I've been waiting for all my life. And if you feel like that, then you may become the initiator. And for the most part, there's nothing wrong with that. But let's see how this progresses. It progresses into retreat. Your relationship elevates. Now, let me say right now from jump, this has two meanings, all right? So, relationship elevates, that could be with you and the new partner, or it could be with you and you, all right? So, let me go ahead and break this down. Now, with the you and you, it's you've become confused or conflicted, and you should spend time in meditation alone in order to get in touch with your true feelings and thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with that, to take a break, to step back and take a break. Now, what they suggested these conflicts are about is that you've met someone new, and perhaps your family and friends have opposing opinions. Okay. So, and then actually, that's with this whole card. Um, so, whether the relationship elevates with yourself, meaning take time out and be alone with yourself and connect with yourself and just think about things before you make your next move. And truthfully, some of them may be right, you know? And then there's also the big old chance of some of them may be wrong. But the ones that may be right, like they're looking out for your best interests. So don't blame them however they're saying it, because just because someone's intention is to look out for your best interest, there is a way to approach you. So if they off the charts, if they wrong, let them know they wrong. That's okay. But also consider their intentions. Be they're not trying to sound crazy, they're trying to look out for you. Because the way they see it, you just left a relationship, now you're in another one. Slow down. That's what they're saying. Slow down. Oh my gosh, there's a song, and I don't even know the song, but the angels are saying, slow down, you're moving too fast. I don't know that song. And my voice is a mess, so I'm not getting ready to try to sing it because I can hear it in my head. But so if you know it, then you know it. Anyway, um, so that's what they're for the ones who want to meditate alone or need to meditate alone, retreat alone because of the conflict and confusion. Your family and friends are just feeling like you're moving too fast. That's all that is. Now, whether or not it's true, that's up to you to determine. And this is a good time for you to ask your guardian angels for guidance when it comes to that. So take a walk amongst nature and speak with your guardian angels, and they will guide you. If you ask, they will answer. And we all have free will, so we must ask. Now, for the others. So, here's the thing. For the others who don't feel like you need to step back and retreat and spend time alone, what you're doing is you're going to spend time alone together. All right? So your relationship is deepening the more you two spend time alone together, apart from everyone else who may be giving you unsolicited advice pertaining to this new relationship. You guys are turning off all electronics and going on a walk in nature, which draws you closer to one another. The closeness facilitates the relationship evolving into the next step. All right. And also, it could possibly be a vacation from work. So here's work and career being mentioned again. And, but being alone together, disconnected from the comforts of or the norm of society, will bring you guys together. And it's so funny, it's ironic that because this, you guys are receiving conflict and confusion as far as unsolicited advice as well. So that's both parties, meaning the alone person, and which is 17%. 17% of the people listening to this is experiencing the solo meditation. And for the rest of you, you're being alone together with your partner, but both of you, what you have in common is unsolicited advice. Or, oh, well, they're correcting me. The 17% with the alone, they asked. They asked. Okay. Which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's just some that asked, some that didn't. Okay, let me put it like that. Either way, you guys are getting advice from family and friends, which is not what you want to hear. That's how they told me to say it. Because there's so many different variations, but the point is, it's not what you want to hear. And so, the couple that retreats together, it could even be an afternoon alone in the home where someone cooks a meal for someone, but all TV and cell phones, everything's turned off. You just disconnect and you just really embrace and understand and talk and just enjoy each other's. They said enjoy each other's company in silence. Get into it. Let me tell you something. That is a good thing when you can enjoy each other's company in silence. So, anyway, let's move on before I go off on a tangent. We've come to finance and career. Okay, financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Work and love needs balancing. The pressures of your career or finances are blocking your enjoyment of a romantic love. And as I said before, this reminds me of the Eight of Clubs, which referred to your career in your first chapter. And the thing that I want you to remember that it said was, first of all, you've achieved professional success above all your challenges. Okay, so pat yourself on the back for that. I don't know what exactly it is that you had to go through before it to show up in this reading. It was something. Okay, so don't um downgrade or belittle your success over the challenges that you faced, okay? Because you're strong, all right? That's your strength that did that. Everybody can't do what you did, but you did it. So pat yourself on the back. That's number one. All right. That was a message straight from your guardian angels. All right. Because for some reason, you're allowing other, which, ooh, that leads me into the next thing. You're allowing other people like to downplay it. Girl, excuse me. I just feel like this is divine feminine energy that I'm speaking with. So pardon me if you hear me say girl. It can be a man or a woman. Um, but this reading is dominated by, I'm speaking to someone who has the domination of divine feminine energy. All right, so let's progress. But they're saying that people or someone downgraded your success, let me tell you something. It's not, and I'm gonna say this nice, because even with me putting these videos online, people that are close to me, sometimes they try to um, diss and downgrade. The thing about it is, you need to understand you can't control what anybody thinks or feels, so don't even try it. However, get in tune with who your true supporters are. Then eliminate what doesn't serve you or who doesn't serve you. Get into it because you don't need them. So don't put any time into trying to change someone's mind into supporting you. Go ahead and weed out the ones who support and who don't support. Because whether you do it now or later, at some point, we all need to face what serves us and what doesn't. And then what doesn't serve us, you need to cut it. Cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. Point blank period. Anyway, so that brings me to for the Eight of Clubs, it said, be vigilant when it comes to other people's influence on your career. Now, back to where we are right now, finances and career, financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Work and love needs balancing. That's in this second chapter. Because your career or finances are blocking your enjoyment of a romantic love. Only you know what that means. But if you don't, you can hit me up for a personal reading at unapologeticallysage.com. Up next from the deck, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And I went ahead and headed for black ice weather. So, because I wanted to kind of be able to point out kind of the spot where you're headed for it. Because remember, when I gave you the definition, it's a warm droplet in the dew, happy and fuzzy, floating down and descends into below freezing weather, and all of a sudden things change and it catches them by surprise. This warm dew droplet is caught by surprise when they enter below freezing weather. They didn't know that was going to happen, but it happened. And then they're there, and then it changes. It changes oh gosh, there's a scientific word for it, but I'm just going to say you're no longer a dew droplet. You're now frozen ice that's just, it's a very big deal now. No one cares if a warm droplet of dew, you know, touches them. But when it transforms into a piece of clear ice on a road that's well traveled and becomes dangerous, people then care because that's a big deal, it's a big change. And it happens all of a sudden. So here's where it's headed for black ice weather. Now, pay attention to red flags, deal breakers identified. Okay? So somebody feeling some type of way. So let's dive into this. Don't allow emotion to blind you to the traits of your new partner that will not work for you in a relationship. Okay. This is what they told me. Say it louder for the bees in the back. Don't allow emotions to blind you. Now, emotions means love. Don't be blinded by love so much to where you begin to ignore the traits, the things, the habits of your new partner that will not, all caps, will not work for you in a relationship. So this person, you've identified what's a deal breaker for you. Like this ain't gonna cut it. This is not cool. This is not, and I don't know what they are. Again, you can get a personal reading, but you know what they are. But this is the point where, this is headed for the black ice weather, you know, but you're identifying them. And let's see what you do with that identification. So, you guys, I honestly thought that that was going to be the last card for that chapter and that we were going to go into your next chapter. However, this card popped out twice. Heart to heart conversations. And as I said in the previous imagery, let's see what you do. What you do with those the deal breaker identity, like what you identified as a trait that is a deal breaker in your new partner. I said, let's see what you'll do with that. Heart to heart conversations. Now, when I say this card popped out, it did just that. And it did it twice. The reason why it did it twice is because as I was shuffling and everything, when it first came out, I thought that was an accident. And so I put it back in and like finished that chapter. And then at the end, it popped out again. And it like popped out. I'm like, oh, okay, so, and it makes sense when I ask, what are you going to do with the traits that are deal breakers from your new partner that you've recently identified? You're going to have a heart to heart conversation. And that makes sense. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. I didn't just laugh at that. What I chuckled at was to thine own self be true. That's Shakespeare. And my chuckle was because I never thought I'd be quoting Shakespeare in my love readings, but hey, here he is. Okay, I'll do what I want, um, but based off of the guidance of your guardian angels. Get into it. So, what you're gonna do with that? Because and actually, it's funny because I was thinking, what they gonna do once they identify it? Like it's one thing to identify it, then you got to take some action. And so, as I'm having these thoughts and questions, asking the divine what they're gonna do once they identify it. Just that was just gonna be my question for the next chapter. But unbeknownst to me, they popped pop pop. They're gonna have a heart to heart conversation. They're going to honestly discuss their feelings with each other. Well, see, that's why it says to thine own self be true. And that's the counterpart directly responding to the each other, which suggests to me that you'll be true, but I don't know about your new partner. Okay? Just to thine own self be true. So no matter what reaction, no matter if they're speaking or not speaking, no matter what they're saying, you need to be true to yourself first and foremost. And I say this all the time. Before you can help anybody else or be a good partner to anybody else or a good family member or friend to anybody else, you have to be all of that to yourself first. And it's hard for a lot of people to understand. Nonetheless, it's still true. That'll be, I have something that a post I'm gonna make about heart wisdom and loving yourself. And so I'll talk about all of that at that point because the older I get, the more experience I have, I'm realizing that more people, it's so easy for them to look over, and it's due to society, what we've been taught. It's a societal, cultural thing. Like we put ourselves last, And that is so opposite and wrong. You can't help anybody if you're not a healed and complete being. No one else completes you. You complete yourself. Get into it. Now back to this heart to heart conversation. Right now I'm going to refer you to imagery. Look at the divine feminine energy and the divine masculine energy. As I stated before, I am speaking to the divine feminine energy. Look at the response. Look at the face. Look at the face. Look at the face. This face is not, look at your face, look at their face. Now, whether this actually happened physically in our 3D life, doesn't matter. This is what was going on. It looks like you're pleading to them. And he ain't paying you no mind. And that's the reality of that. And this card popped out twice because it's like, let me do some validation. And the validation means this happened already, and you had a feeling this person was just, your words was going, they saying in and out their ears or whatever. What is that called? In and out. Like you're talking and it's going right out. There, I wish I could draw so I could draw y'all the image. Like you're talking and it's as if your words are entering one ear but going smooth across out the other. So, um, the person's not listening. Like you can clearly see. They want to point out your angels got your back. Look at the angels, they got your back. Okay, they always want to, they like, hey, we here though, we here. We're here and we were there. They said we were there. When you had this conversation, they were there supporting you. They will always be. First of all, don't ever question that. Don't ever question that. Your guardian angels will always have your back, which is why they led you here to listen to this. Okay? But I just want you to see the imagery. And this is the answer to the question when I asked, what are they going to do with what they've identified as to be an issue? And they said that you're going to have, or you had, a heart to heart conversation, which is like the best thing to do. Once you've already clearly moved your relationship to a higher level, and then you discover something that's not, let me say, cool, it's not cool, let's talk about it. That's the right thing to do. Nothing wrong with that. But his face, though, his face, his reaction, he's thinking about something. He's definitely thinking about something, and I can hear now you've asked about that. You are aware. You're aware. You're aware that he spaces off. It says spaces off. What does that mean? You're aware, and you asked, and he looked bothered. I'm sorry, he looks bothered. He looks so bothered. With his bangs. Anyway, let's go to the next card. They told me to do an energy snapshot. So, energy snapshot, an energy snapshot is the energy that is within you that has influenced the cards we just read. So, the energy snapshot for you is express your love. Your energy snapshot is express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Here's the question. Are you being heard? Are you being heard? Again, I beg of you. Look at the divine masculine's face. And look at your face. Now, one thing I notice in this imagery is that you don't have the angels there, which means you didn't call on them and ask for help. That's not in your energy. And perhaps maybe not, you got it later, because at the end of that chapter there were angels there. But just because they're there, they're always there. They're always there. But they're making it a point to say you need to ask them. And if I need to explain about free will, yes, we all have guardian angels. And if you're listening to this, hopefully you know that and you're aware of that. But we all also have free will, which means, as it relates to guardian angels, we have to ask, willfully ask for their help, And your energy right now, I don't believe you've asked yet. I think those two angels in the previous one, they were just there, like for me to let you know they're there waiting. Because I do believe further on at some point I'm gonna say they're there waiting. Yeah, I am. Okay. So, and I know that because I I do these readings. I channel them and take notes as they're being channeled, and then I discuss and deliver. But express your love. So that was your feeling throughout the second chapter, and that's a good feeling, but you need to come to reality and see if the person is receptive, because that's very important. That may be more important than you. Well, no, they're probably equally important. You do need to get in touch with yourself, okay, and how you feel and what you will accept and not accept going forward. Very much so. You do. We all need to get in touch with ourselves and the value of ourselves, okay? And not let anyone treat us any less than the best, all right? However, you need to put some reality up in there, because what it looks like to me is like, have you asked yourself if this person hears you? Are you being heard? Because clearly, right now in the second chapter of this relationship, no. Answer is no. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. And in this photo, in this image, it looks like you're pleading. Pleading. How long do you want to be pleading? I don't know. I'm just asking. This divine feminine energy that I'm speaking to, ask yourself, how long are you willing to plead for what you deserve to be reciprocated from the divine masculine? Do you understand how easy it comes to you to give all this love? Don't you think your partner should experience that same ease as it comes to giving love to you? I'm going to leave it right there. Here we find ourselves at the third chapter. For the third chapter, I used the After Tarot deck, and I may do a review on that deck. I love the Before Tarot and the After Tarot, because what they do, these two decks, they take the original images and change them slightly. And you know, I'm all about the images, all about the imagery. With that being said, here's what we are looking at for the third chapter. Ace of Pentacles, Page of Swords reversed, Knight of Cups, and Ten of Wands. Let's sage the third chapter out. Also, if you notice imagery, the road has changed in your third chapter. So we were dealing with black ice, and this still can be viewed as a version of black ice, but it's a little more obvious now, because black ice in and of itself is clear, translucent to the street. The street is black, which is why it's called black ice. You can see this though. Yes, it's ice on the street. It's an icy street, but you can see this. So let's see what this third chapter is talking about because you're going to be dealing with what you already know. So how what's going on? Let's see. Now, sages, here we are breaking down, saging out the first card. Ace of Pentacles, and it's in the upright. That's beautiful, all right? It represents the gift of life. Possible new career, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Elephant in the room, the gift of life. Possible pregnancy. It doesn't matter that this card may not represent that in the normal Rider Waite. This is not the Rider Waite, okay? So take it as it relates and resonates. But the gift of life, it could be life into your, like you getting life back into you. It could be a newborn. It could be a new career. It could be a new creative project. The gift of life is life into something, okay? It could be, excuse me, more specifically, they're saying to me something creative that you may have started a while back and you're um, giving it life again. Maybe something you attempted and gave. Wait, they need to slow down. Attempted, gave up on, and bringing it back. That can be anything. But you know what that is. And it says you'll have all of the resources you need to pursue your dreams. Get into it. That is beautiful. That's beautiful. So we're starting out chapter 3 beautifully because whatever this is that you putting life into or are given the gift of life to, you'll have all the resources you need to pursue your dreams. So whatever you need is going to come to you. So you need to realize that and accept that. And also understand that that is a gift that's given from the divine and can also be taken away. Now, one thing that I felt like I had to add when I was looking at this new deck and exploring the new deck and what it meant. So we all can see there is a bug in the hand. That's one of the biggest differences. There is a bug in the divinity's hand. So what is that bug? Let me explain that bug. That bug is a beetle called scarab. Here's the thing about the scarab. The scarab is a symbol of creation and rebirth. Ancient Egypt believed a scarab beetle rolled the sun across the sky each day, just like beetles on Earth rolled dung across the ground for their eggs. So you got the sun and the dung, the sun and poop. Okay, I know this microphone probably made that poop like pop in your ear. I apologize for that. I can't, um, you know, it's too late for me to try to reduce that sound. I didn't mean to make poop pop. But you got the sun and poop represented by this beetle in the hand. So for me, I would take that as there's good, there's bad. This message has always been mixing in your career and finances with your relationship. So I don't know if it's, you know what song played in my head when I read this sun and poop analogy. And there's nothing wrong with the poop, I guess, because the poop, they do that for their eggs. I guess they lay their eggs and poop. I don't know, and I'm not gonna look up the scarab beetle, but they roll the sun and poop. So, I mean, I'd rather have the sun than poop, but that's a metaphor, and y'all know I love metaphors, okay? So that's like with the good comes the bad. So the song, back to the song that played in my head was P. Diddy and Mace, More Money, More Problems. And I'm not gonna, I wanna sing it so bad, but my voice sounds a hot mess. Trust me, y'all don't want it. Now when my voice get back to good, y'all gonna be like, oh, you should become a singer. No, but anyway, but y'all know More Money, More Problems, you know. Um Also they told me to point out this card represents Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Now, I don't go heavily on, I don't be announcing. This is my first time announcing what the card represents because so far as astrology, I definitely believe in astrology, but I just don't want you guys to get hung up on it. But they told me to say that. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So get into it. And that scarab bug, beetle bug, might be one of them, for all I know. Pulling in the sun into your life and some dung. Now, the next card I think will explain more of the dung. Page of Swords reversed. Punished by your partner. Your partner's emotional baggage from a previous relationship is making them paranoid. Do not allow your partner to punish you for treatment they received from a previous relationship. Knight of Cups is next. To thine own self be love. Now that's a quote by me, you know. A little takeoff of the Shakespeare. This is Indigo Sagian Spear. To thine own self be love. The Knight of Cups. This is a sensitive and introspective knight who has stopped to rest. I love the fact that he drinks from his own cup of love. Knights usually deliver messages, but this knight stopped and is accepting their own message of love. So here's the deal, how I feel. This knight was on his way to deliver that cup of love. Okay? So you were on your way, like you've and throughout this entire message, the divine feminine energy has been trying to love and heal from the jump, been motherly and protective energy, trying to love and heal. I feel an empath here. Um, that's trying to heal something, trying to help your divine masculine heal. And the previous card where it says your partner punishes you, that made you have to take a break, stop, halt. If you notice that horse's hoof is right dead smack in the middle, he didn't know he was about to stop. He's like, wait, what? We stopping? Which is a good thing because you have to stop and like evaluate this stuff. But before you even do that, what you've noticed is that you need to give yourself love, which is something I touched on earlier in this message. We have to heal ourselves. We have to come to a relationship as a whole and healed being. Otherwise, you cannot help anyone else. So it looks like to me you saw the mess with your partner bringing in that baggage and trying to punish you for something someone else did, and you stopped and said, wait a minute, hold up. I need to go and introspective myself and give myself some loving, healing energy and just kind of see what's going on. Because one thing that we must do, and this helps the dive in, the introspective part of it all. Why am I with this person? If, and I'm not saying that this person is abusive, I'm just giving an example. If you find yourself with an abusive person, first thing you need to do is ask yourself, why are you with that abusive person? Okay? Some of you may not like to hear that, but I'm thinking the collective I'm listening to because you drinking your own cup of love. So you already know. You already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to heal yourself. You're sitting up here trying to, like, this horse, this knight is to get, is taking that cup, his cup of love to deliver it to someone else, your partner. But they realized they had to stop. and give their own self a cup of love. And so I'm imagining what just happened was rough on you. It was rough for you to have to stop and lick your own wounds. I don't know exactly what you've been through. And again, shameless plug, you can get a reading from me, but the thing about it is I've been through a lot myself, and I've had these type of moments. And sometimes it takes a while to get out of it. But I'm so glad to see this knight drinking his own cup of love. Okay? Because you got to love yourself first. You have to. And then you respect yourself. And when you love and respect yourself, that's the healing process. And then you won't accept nothing less. You understand what I'm saying? So you won't find yourself in an abusive situation anymore because you won't expect anything less than what you deserve. You deserve love and respect and joy, all of that. And you are a person who's working towards that. And for some reason, earlier it said that your finances and career is affecting your relationship. Well, I'm getting the sense that it's not on your end, it's not your fault. Like, you're not upset that you're progressing. You feel what I'm saying? Don't ever dim your light. They saying for me to tell you, and I know this is a cliche statement or whatever, but don't ever dim your light so that someone else can shine. Don't do it. Moving on. Next, we have 10 of Wands, which represents, they told me to tell you, exhaustion forces reevaluation. So I'm going to say it again because it has to sink in with you guys. Exhaustion forces reevaluation. You're tired. You're tired. Need I say more? Perseverance in the face of confusion and dismay. You have taken on too much responsibility. The imagery of the after tarot versus the original is that he's not carrying them. So in the original Rider Waite, he's carrying them. In this one, he let them fall where they may, and he's resting and reflecting, and he's asking,